Welcome to the Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Josh Kimmel, Dave Campbell, and Justin Bowerly.
Welcome to Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Josh. We are talking Wednesday Showdown show. Yes, we have two players from each position, and we break down if we're going to start player A or player B. And no, these are not guys that you would not expect. These are guys that you are going to have tough times handling. We may have a special guest today. We may. I'm not going to tease it because I doubt he's a 1% chance, but it's a special guest just in case. But we do have our always co-host. He's here every single week. Justin Bowerly, Mr. Suit himself. What's up, Suit? What's up,
Don't
buddy?
call me a suit.
You are. You're in a suit.
Call me a suit.
I'm chilling in the Margaritaville jacket. You're in a suit. I mean, yin and yang.
This is what we do.
You know, we give you the best of both worlds. I'm actually growing out the beard because I don't have any razors, and I don't want to go to Publix, and I don't want it.
I've been just trimming it up and just letting it grow. But every time I let it grow out, I immediately go back and look at pictures and I'm like, why did I do this? Like, this looks so bad. And
Mine too. Mine's patchy. It's terrible.
Yeah,
Probably gonna shave it today. But nonetheless, I hope everyone's enjoying their winter so far. It's very cold here. Very cold. I've been begging for this, and now that it's here, I'm not going to complain. I'm not. Don't do that to me.
I was about to say some very choice words that I've already told you this morning, so
I'm not going to complain. I'm having a great time here in Florida, where it's 40-something degrees. This is great. Oh, let's get into this.
Amazing.
It is.
That would be amazing weather right now. 2
shirts on and a jacket and sweats. We're hanging in there. Heated blanket in the office. We're hanging in there, buddy. Anyway, let's get on to the actual show. But before we do we have any news, any kind of surprises you want to throw my way that I'm not aware of?
I'm trying to think of things that might have happened. Trevor Lawrence is still in concussion protocol like we all expected. Breece Hall is not practicing today. That's something to think about with his knee injury. So Braylon Allen might be a good pickup if he's available. Other than that, I mean, that's...
Hey, if you don't have Braylon Allen and you are watching the show or listening to the show, wherever you may be listening to, shame on you. We've been telling you since like week 4 to grab this guy if you roster Breece. If you roster Breece, you should roster Allen. We've been telling you this from, I don't know, forever ago. Shame on you.
Like almost the first week, I think. Like, I'm pretty sure since the first week we've been saying roster Braylon Allen. I'm trying to look. He is rostered in not a lot of leagues. 32% of Yahoo, 22% of ESPN.
Again, shame on you. But it's all right. They're a bad team, so he might not be the super all-star that you think he is. I hope everyone's waiver wire went well. I secured a lot of sincere this week for me. McCormick, if you're not aware, the Raiders practice squad running back. I sold him this morning for a 3rd-round pick in Dynasty. Hey, if he breaks out and he's the next superstar, whatever. I took a gamble. That's why you pay attention and you play your leagues until completion.
I looked at one league. Guerendo had 11 total bids on him. Of
course, he should.
I was right there in the middle at $50. That's really all I could afford. He went for 150 in that league.
He should have been rostered in all dynasty leagues. It's a shame that he wasn't. Honestly, Guerendo, he should have been rostered in every single dynasty league.
I did. Yeah, I agree. I'm thinking redraft here. Yep. I'm looking at a lot of my redrafts here, and he just got picked up by literally everyone. Yep, somebody just got him. Oh no, that was a waiver. Oh, I didn't get him. Damn. I think I only got him in like one league.
Oh, well, congratulations on that one league. And Mateo in the chat, good morning to you, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are watching this. You might not be watching this live. Currently, it's 12:14 p.m. Eastern. That's when we go live. And we're going to give you the showdown right away. Justin, let's get into it, man. Stop lollygagging, roster baiting, doing whatever we're doing over here. Let's get into the meat of the matter. This is the final playoff push before your playoffs start. So we have some important decisions. And guys, what was my record last week? What was my record?
You just want to talk about that. It's the
No,
one.
I don't know. I don't know.
1 week you beat me. You were. I'm sorry. No, we were both 1-3 last week.
Oh, 1-3.
It was my. Yeah, I'm on a losing streak right now. That's 1-3 weeks back to back, which kind of sucks.
Because
do you want your overall record?
No,
doesn't look
nope,
great.
nope. Don't want that. No. Hey, guys, these are hard, man. This isn't like, I know the majority of shows out there, and we used to do this as well. We would give you player A, which is totally obvious, and player B, who's not obvious, and go with player A. We're gonna crush it.
Yeah,
we're going with 2 player C's. Like these are tough decisions over here.
Pretty true, actually.
And Mateo, thank you so much for making us a part of your morning every single Wednesday. I know you're always here. California, I would love to go to the West Coast and live there for like a year and see how it is. I would love that. Wake up 10 a.m.
to get an apartment together.
Definitely, that's all we can afford out there in California. The life. I bet you Florida's catching up to their expensive nature over there. I heard someone. This is not related to fantasy. Someone in South Carolina tell me that their house was very expensive at $120,000. $120,000. So what's 120,000,000. We can't even get a freaking 1-bedroom apartment for that. So
that's like I was about to say that's like a studio here. I mean,
we need to move in the center of America.
We have like, I think Indiana has some of the cheapest housing like in the nation. But yeah, even our house is way more than that 7 years ago. So
real estate talk here on Fantasy Football.
Things you won't get on the other podcasts.
Yeah, Mateo, we're literally looking at apartments, our townhomes, our rental property, just to move because I don't like where I live. And a 1-bedroom apartment here near in Riverview, Florida. I'll just tell you where I am. $2,300, like the cheapest. How could you live? How can anyone live? Anyway, back to fantasy football, where we are now. Can we get to the showdown?
Yeah.
All right, so we have some quarterbacks we're going to talk about. One guy I grabbed for my playoff push already, and one guy I already had for my playoff push. So this is very interesting. Caleb Williams with the Chicago Bears going to San Francisco, speaking of the West Coast, or Will Levis, Mr. Mayo Man himself, playing Jacksonville, one of the worst teams in all of football. This is a lot harder than you think because Will Levis has been a lot better than you think. I know that because I have Lamar in a league, and I had to settle for Will Levis, and I'm like, oh, I'm pleasantly surprised with his production. But am I willing to start him over Caleb Williams this week? Justin, I'm going to start with you because I don't know.
Yeah, so Will Levis has been great over the last couple weeks. The last 2 games, Jacksonville is also allowing 25.4 points to the quarterbacks. And Levis has completed 18 passes in 3 of his last 4, with 17 in the other game. So he's completing passes. He's getting there. And since the bye week, he has a 8-3 touchdown to interception ratio, which is pretty solid for somebody that struggled very early. And a lot of people thought maybe he got benched. Maybe his injury was actually more of like, oh, we're just going to bench him for a while. And we've seen other quarterbacks, especially from the draft class, get benched this season and then come back and do pretty well. Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis. Maybe CJ Stroud should have got benched because he hasn't been playing well. But anyways, Williams, however, has a new head coach this week. He has a new offensive coordinator this week. He has a new QB coach this week. Everything is new. However, he did play on Thursday, and we have seen teams light it up with an interim head coach going into a big game that they shouldn't be winning. So I would not be any bit surprised that Caleb Williams and the Bears offense explodes this weekend against San Francisco, the team that they're not supposed to. San Francisco is also like struggling with injuries right now, so that doesn't help either. I think, however, I think I lean Levis here though against the Jacksonville defense. The only thing is that they just had that big, like, Trevor Lawrence just got hurt, and then they played pretty well against the Houston Texans. No, I'm going to go with my gut feeling from last Friday. Caleb Williams in a big game against San Francisco. I'm picking Caleb Williams.
I don't hate it. Again, don't hate it. The Jaguars give up the most fantasy points to the quarterback, 22.6. Buccaneers are a close second, 22.5 per game. So that's a huge, huge gap. When we're talking about the San Francisco 49ers, they're a little bit down the ways in that. Matter of fact, they're kind of in the middle of the road. They only give up 16.3 fantasy points per game. That's pretty good. I believe that's top 6. So I lied. It's not middle of the road. It's top 6. So that plays a huge part into it. You've got a rookie quarterback going into San Francisco, traveling on the road. So, that's a situation where I'm not looking forward to a whole new offensive, like you said, a whole new offensive scheme probably. Who knows what's going to happen? Will Levis, his numbers look good. Since week 10, he's only the quarterback 15, though. So even though he has been better, it's still not good enough to get himself in the top 12 from his return of his injury. Still, Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford, and a couple more was just better than him, including Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams in that time is the quarterback 9, averaging 18.9 points per game, where Will Levis is 17.3. So it's only about a point. So really, when you look at that, you can look at these numbers and go, wow, one person's at 8, the other person's at 15. But when you actually look at what separates them, it's only about 1 point per game. You have to take it. It's going to be some math, people. It's going to be some math. Then you go into Jacksonville, they average 22 point, whatever it was, San Francisco. So you got like, oh, is Caleb going to come down from that average? Is Will Levis going to go up from that average? Is it going to equal out? Like, there's a lot of math going on here, which I'm not really into math. That being said, I think I'm going to go Will Levis as well. Jacksonville, divisional game. They know each other. Will Levis has Calvin Ridley, which Mateo already said in the chat. He's going to start Calvin Ridley this week. I don't blame him. I would too if I rostered Calvin Ridley. I'm really into Will Levis this week, although maybe it's a bias because I did pick him up, and I am starting him, and I do need a win to get into the playoffs, and it is against Dirtbag Dave.
No, don't get me wrong. I would definitely be picking up Levis. Levis could be one of those league winners at the end of the season for the quarterback position. He plays, again, the 32nd ranked defense against the quarterback this week, 30th next week, 20th the following week, and then again the 32nd the 32nd ranked team against the quarterback position in the championship matchup. He's definitely a good option going down the stretch because he should be able to score a lot of points.
Yeah,
but I'm still going to go with Caleb Williams this week.
You're going Caleb? I'm going Will Levis. So that's the set. That's boom.
Yep.
All right. You ready to get to the running backs? Oh my goodness. We got super fresh Isaac Guerendo, which we have zero information on, which we spoke about him yesterday. He was probably our number 1 waiver wire pickup now that CMC and Jordan Mason are gone. They are playing Chicago. We just talked about this matchup a little bit. Or Nick Chubb at Pittsburgh, who's been kind of underwhelming since his return. People say that. I don't think it's underwhelming at all. I think it's a freaking miracle that he's actually playing football. Like, I think it's a miracle that he's actually able to recover and play as well as he have. Whether it's not, what he used to be, definitely not, and I don't think he ever will be. He's only averaging 3 yards per carry this season. He has 4 touchdowns, which is good. I just don't feel comfortable with him starting him ever, especially at Pittsburgh on the road, especially when Jameis is doing what he's doing. I know that you went first last time, so I'll just say it out loud. I'm gonna roll the dice with Guerendo. I'm gonna roll the dice with the new kid coming in town. I'm gonna roll the dice with the guy who has the entire backfield to himself. We think he does. Deebo might get involved. If Deebo gets involved, then he might be a little bit screwed. I understand that. But I'm gonna go with a young, explosive kid that we don't know much about over the old busted, reliable stud Hall of Famer, Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb put up double-digit points in the past 2 weeks. It's respectable. He's also scored 3 touchdowns in the past 3 weeks. If he doesn't score a touchdown, he's not going to score you these double-digit points. We've seen that since his return. If he doesn't score a touchdown, he's scoring less than 6 points. That's a fact. That's happening. If he scores a touchdown, he's double digits. So really, you're thinking, is he going to score a touchdown or not? Guerendo, he can catch passes. He's involved. He's going to be involved in the passing game. They're down players. They're hurting for players. They're in shambles right now. They're going to do anything that they can to win a football game. They're also playing an in shambles Chicago Bears team. Chicago, whether you think this interim group is going to do well or not, they're also a team that's really bad at football and can be had. So I'm going to definitely go Isaac Guerendo on this one. just a gut check because we don't know much about him. We just
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate you for that. We definitely did just talk about Guerendo a lot, literally yesterday. There is another running back in San Francisco. It's Israel Abinikonda from the New York Jets.
the Jets, did they just trade for him? How did this happen?
He claimed him. They claimed him. So
Okay.
he was a waiver. He just got signed. 22-year-old, so even younger. But that doesn't mean he's going to take considerable snaps, I would assume. I assume that's just for, fresh legs. I don't hate that. Hate the pick of taking Guerendo. 8.6 points last week. He did get a touchdown. He's got 2 touchdowns on the season. He has the ability to make explosive plays. We want to talk about Nick Chubb. He did score 19 points 2 weeks ago against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He scored 12 points. That was on 20 rushes, 2 touchdowns, of course. Last week against Denver, he did not score a rushing touchdown, still put up 12.5 points, only on 9 rushes. Now, mind you, they were like in a shootout, so Jameis was obviously going to be throwing the ball. But he did get a receiving touchdown, which helped his total points there. He's coming off a little bit. I mean, like as fresh legs as a 28-year-old running back with a major knee injury the season before can come off of 9 rushes, 11 total like touches on the ball last week, which does help him a lot. He's still scoring. That's the thing. He's still scoring. He's still getting production. I am going to lean more. I'm going to lean more towards Nick Chubb this week. And it's not just so we're completely different because that does make things nice. But I'm going to lead with old Mr. Reliable, who's been pretty solid the last 2 weeks. And I feel like you just don't know enough about what that 49ers offense is going to do, what Kyle Shanahan is going to do to save his job. Because I think if they lose another game or another 2 games, they could end up firing Kyle Shanahan, which wouldn't be great for him. So maybe like I said, maybe they do introduce the Debo stuff again. Maybe they pass him. I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm leaning Nick Chubb this week. I want to see Guerendo actually have a full-time starter position and what they can do efficiently. Like Guerendo's 2 games where he scored a lot of points have come off of really big running plays. And does he have that every single game, every play? Is he a big-time player every play of the game?
He was supposed to be the one. You said that yesterday. He was supposed to be the one to replace CMC and get that role. So we're going to find out real quick. I'm just going to go for the upside over the downside of 3.0 yards per carry and 40 yards a game.
Totally get it. Cannot blame you one bit.
At Pittsburgh.
I actually, not even thinking about this. I actually have this as a matchup this week for me in my flex position as Guerendo or Nick Chubb. I just immediately thought
so shocking that you use this platform to better your own.
To be fair, I got Guerendo this morning and I picked these last night.
So shocking. The Bears do give up 21. It is a note. The Bears do give up 21.3 fantasy points to the running back position. That is good for 10th worst, as in they're in the bottom 10 against the running back. So we'll find out what's going to happen here.
Solid.
Next matchup. Marvin Harrison Jr., the stud, the Hall of Famer himself. We freaking gave him his jacket in the preseason. He's still growing into it. Like he's like when I buy my kids stuff, I buy them a little bit larger, right? Like a size up. And they can grow into it. That's what Marvin Harrison's doing right now. He's playing Seattle or the wide receiver 1 for your Buffalo Bills, Khalil Shakir at the LA Rams. I went first last time. I gave you the advantage. So you get to go first this time.
Yeah, as you said, Khalil Shakir is the target. He is the target. He is the Trey McBride of the Buffalo Bills, where they have a Dalton Kincaid. Marvin Harrison Jr. is second in targets on the team behind Trey McBride, which nobody would have really thought about. I guess fantasy people would have thought about, Trey McBride being a stud of a tight end, but it seems like the national media doesn't understand that. But Marvin does lead the team in explosive plays of over 20 yards with 9. However, Seattle did lock him up the last game for only 3 catches. So that could take an effect. Maybe the Seattle Seahawks actually know how to play against Marvin Harrison Jr., how to lock him up. Because I mean, that was literally 2 weeks ago, but then he scored 17 points against Minnesota last week. So, Shakir, on the other hand, it doesn't really matter. He's going to get his targets. He's going to get his plays. And that's pretty amazing. Even with leading the team in targets, though, he has only been a top 20 wide receiver, or he has not been a top 20 wide receiver this season.
That's the problem with Shakir. Is his upside is super limited because he's not a game breaker. He's not someone like Marvin Harrison who can break open a game wide open. He's a receiver that's going to give you, like, you're happy with 5 for 60. Like, you are. And that's where the Bills stand right now. Like, you're super happy with, like, oh yeah, just give me double digits and we'll get out of here and we'll take that double digit, buddy. Whereas Marvin Harrison, you drafted him in the first round. You really wanted him to be that 30, 25, 20-point game guy. He hasn't really done that consistently. Whereas Khalil Shakir, you're just guaranteed every single week besides week 6 in week 13, double-digit points. He's got 50 yards, 70 yards, 60 yards. He only has one game with 100. That was against Seattle. 9 catches, 107 yards. That was back in week 8. This guy's not a big touchdown scorer. He doesn't score many. He only has 2 on the season. Both were in the first quarter of the season back in week 1 and week 3. So it's been a while since he's found the end zone. I do like the fact that he is like the guy there. Like, he's averaging double-digit targets since week 8 as well.
Shakir is definitely a big-time PPR play. Where if you're not playing PPR, you definitely probably lean more towards Harrison because he can do more with the ball. He does have a couple games over 100. He does get touchdowns. That's the big thing. To actually answer this, I think I'm going to go Marvin Harrison Jr. here. I know he did just get locked up by Seattle just 2 weeks ago, but the Rams are Shakir has to play against the Rams, and they're the 7th best against the pass, which does not favor his way. So I feel like this is going to be a big James Cook, Josh Allen game. Hopefully, maybe they actually start getting Dalton Kincaid back involved if he's healthy. Knox had a big game last week with 12.5 points. So I could see them moving the ball around a lot more than just directly going to Shakir. And like you said, with Will Levis, this is a big divisional matchup. This is for first in the division pretty much. So I'm going to lean towards Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray getting the ball out to both McBride and Marvin Harrison.
Yeah. Since week 7, it's been up and down, man. 5.1, 23.1, 3.4, 16.4, 7.7, 17.
So this is the down week.
This is the down week for
the down week.
Like, if you follow trends and you like to follow that kind of stuff and you think you put any kind of stock into it, yeah, this is the down week. It really is, according to the game logs. Playing Seattle for the second time in 3 weeks. That's never fun. Is it going to benefit the defense or the offense? Is it going to benefit Kyler? Is he going to understand the defense now? And is he going to understand how to beat that Seattle defense? Or did Seattle just get a better look at Kyler and go, hey, we shut him down once, we could do it again? Again, in that game against Seattle, he had 94.8% of the snap share. It's his career high. I could say career high because it was. He had more snaps in that game than any other game. He ran 38 routes, which is, again, career high for him. Only had 6 targets, 3 catches, 47 yards. You don't want to see that from your number one receiver. You don't want to see it, but it happened. So let's see if it happens again. Again, Minnesota is the number 1 worst team. I know I said that wrong, but they're the number 1 worst team against the receiver position. They're worse than Baltimore now. Minnesota is. And that's who he just beat. 12 targets, 5 catches, 1 touchdown. That 1 touchdown was super late too. It was an effective touchdown. It was a very good touchdown, but it came late in the game, and you're like, oh, what's going on with Marv? And that's been the story of Marvin Harrison. What's going on with Marv? What's happening? Is he a bust? Is he just a secondary player? Is he just going to be a T. Higgins? And does he need a Jamar Chase for that team to actually be effective? These are all question marks. Everyone comes in with these expectations of, oh, he's the great guy. He's Marvin Harrison Jr. He is the number 1 guy. Well, really, Neighbors is better. Brian Thomas is better. You can argue JSN's already better, but he's not in the same class. But you get my point. He's not meeting the expectations.
I see. So to go back to college here, the Ohio State receivers are always not as high fiddle as the LSU receivers. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, number ones. Like they are elite. They are the good, great talents. Then you got guys like Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson from Ohio State, also Marvin Jr. They're great. They are great. Don't get me wrong. They are great, but they're not number one, like wide receiver one in fantasy. I mean, look at Garrett Wilson, probably the better of the two, but Garrett Wilson has not had a top 20 finish until this year in his 3 seasons. Chris Olave has only been wide receiver 16. That's the highest he's been.
No, I
Marvin
understand.
Harrison Jr. could be another mid-tier. Like he is going to be a wide receiver one on his team for sure, but not a wide receiver one in fantasy.
Yeah, and that's possibly the case, especially with Trey McBride just being such a better target for Kyler Murray. I'm not going to say better athlete or better player, just a better target for Kyler. Seems like they mesh more than obviously Marvin Harrison. So I didn't give you guys an answer yet.
You didn't.
And I'm going to go Khalil Shakir. Not just to be different, just because I want the safe floor. I want the safe floor. I see that I play patterns. I play roulette when I go to the casino. And if it's like black, 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 red, black, 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 red, like I notice that kind of stuff, and I'm just going to bet all my money on black every time. So if it's good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad for a long extended period of time, this is his bad week, and he's playing Seattle again. So, oh, and I do want to notice, since I'm on Garrett Wilson's page, because you made me go look him up. Last week against Seattle, Garrett Wilson had 10 targets, 5 catches, 41 yards, 9.1 points. I think Garrett Wilson's better than Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
Just
and Craig, yes, Shakir is the Bills' number one. Okay, so we had a question. Hey there, guys. Is Lamb worried to keep starting of injury? It looks like Lamb is going to play. He played last week. He's been active the last 3 weeks, even with the back injury. I would fully anticipate him playing. And in fact, if you're worried about his injury and Dak injury, they're playing the Bengals this week, and we all know what the Bengals defense looks like. Everybody looks like a god against the Bengals defense. So Cooper Rush, CeeDee Lamb, fire them both up because they are going to absolutely annihilate the Bengals.
Temper your expectations because it is Cooper Rush. I'm just going to say that. Although it's a plus matchup. I'm just going to say Justin's getting real happy over here. He's like,
I'm this close from starting him over one of my guys in a super flex league where I have to get a win to get into the playoffs. Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, or Cooper Rush.
That's so easy for me. It's Russell Wilson and Kyler. I'm not playing.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm starting.
Listen, back in the day, there was a guy named Robbie Anderson. And he broke out. Like this was his breakout year. Week after week, 20 points, 25 points, 20 points. Good old Josh in his championship matchup says, you know what? I'm going to bench my stud. At the time, Sammy Watkins, because Sammy Watkins was having a good year. For Robbie Anderson, because he's been blowing up. Robbie Anderson got me a big fat 0 in my championship week, and I lost because I got too cute. Justin, Mateo, Craig, everyone watching around the world, stop getting cute. We're trying to get to the playoffs. We're not trying to win the best roster decision of the year. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to get into the playoffs. Stop it. But yes, Cooper Rush is fine if you have Kyler and you have, who else did you say?
Oh yeah, Russ? No, Kyler is 100% starting. I'm not doubting that. No. And Russ will definitely start too. It's just, man, what if Cooper puts up 30 points this week and you're like, dang, man. And then you miss out by like a couple points. Anyways, Mateo, I feel you. I made the playoffs in one league, but my winning team had CMC, Mason, and Taysom Hill. Hopefully you picked up Guerendo, man.
Hopefully you got Guerendo. Hopefully you listened to the show yesterday.
Picked up Brandon Cooks, Jamal Williams so far because no one is on the waiver. Yeah,
so Brandon Cooks. Hey, Brandon Cooks. He did well. If CeeDee Lamb's hurting, we saw Brandon Cooks make some plays on Thanksgiving Day. And they're playing the Bengals, so that could be a sneaky play right there.
Yeah.
Very
all right,
sneaky.
Next tight ends.
Hey, thanks for that like, Craig. I really appreciate it.
Yes,
if you guys are watching anywhere around the world, please like this show. It helps us with the algorithm. Thank you so much. Yes. Next one. I have to go first, don't I?
Yeah.
All right. So we have Tucker Kraft at Detroit, which I already made my decision when I saw the list come out. I know who I'm starting. Will Dissley at KC. These are tough matchups. Will Dissley got you a big fat 0 last week. I started him in my league of record where I have to chug a Smirnoff Ice. I'm not doing it on the show. I'm going to do it privately. F you, Will Dissley. You really screwed me on that one.
And you got iced twice this year?
3 times. I start because I don't care about this league anymore. I only have 3 wins.
Okay, that's fair.
I drafted CMC number 1. I roster T. Higgins. I roster Brock. Anyone that got hurt this year is on my team. Chris Olave, like anyone you could think of that got destroyed, I roster. So it was a bad year for me. So I got anyway. Last week I started Deontay Johnson on Monday Night Football, just hoping to pull out some kind of magic. He got me 0. So I got iced 2 weeks in a row. F you, Deontay Johnson, and F you, Will Dissley. So in that reason alone, I'm going Tucker Kraft because he's going at Detroit. They're going to have to score a lot of points. Detroit's going to score a bajillion points, as we know. I don't know the over-under for both these matchups, but I'm assuming the Packers-Lions one is a lot more than the Chargers-Chiefs. Justin, if you could look that one up real quick. That's where I'm basing this decision on. And not only that alone, Tucker Kraft has been the more explosive tight end throughout the entire season. Will Dissley can have his 0 catch games, as we saw last week. Tucker Kraft is a guy who was drafted in the same class as his freaking teammate. I think it's Musgraves. And it's a situation where what was it? What's his name? Hayden Hurst was drafted first for the Ravens, and then Mark Andrews was drafted later. Mark Andrews just took it over. Tucker Kraft is just taking it over. Double-digit points in the past 2 weeks. He did give you a 0 burger in week 11 when I just told you he wouldn't do that. But he did do that against the Bears. 0 catches, 1 target. That's trash. But other than that, double-digit points since week 7 and every single week except for week 9 and 11. He played Detroit in week 9, had 6 targets, 4 catches, only scored 7.6. I understand that's trash. I totally understand that. They are playing Thursday night. Again, I hate Thursday night matchups. Dobbs might be back, but Dobbs might not be back. That's the situation you want to monitor because that's going to open up more targets for Tucker Kraft. Kraft had 7 targets against Miami, 6 catches, 78 yards, no touchdowns. Actually hasn't scored a touchdown since week 8. I would say he's due. I'm all in on Tucker Kraft this year. I'm all in on Tucker Kraft this week against Detroit. I'm staying away from Will Dissley and the Chiefs. I just am because I don't like that matchup. I don't like that situation. And I think Will Dissley can disappear because he has. He hasn't been a consistent player throughout the entire season like Tucker Kraft has. I have a feeling we're going to agree on this one.
So, to answer your question, the Packers-Lions game is the over-under is 51.5. The Chargers-Chiefs is 42.5. These are 2 divisional matchups, one on Thursday Night Football, both coming off of Thursday football from Thanksgiving. So they both have had the extended week, getting cut short. The other one is on Sunday Night Football. So this couldn't be more opposite other than playing on Monday Night Football. That would be the only opposite there. Can you tell me, outside of Ladd McConkey, who Justin Herbert throws the ball to?
I think Joshua Palmer had a touchdown a couple weeks ago.
So last
Quentin
week,
Johnston.
Yes, he was second in receptions last week. Ladd had 12 targets, 9 receptions. Quentin Johnson was 2 for 4. Josh Palmer, Stone Smart, Darius Davis, Scott Matlock, Gus Edwards, Tucker Fisk all had 1 reception. Will Dissley had 0 on his 1 target. Ladd McConkey's hurt. He might not play this week. He got hurt in the last game. If Ladd is out, J.K. Dobbins is out, Gus Edwards can't run the ball to save his life.
Good pick.
Who's Justin Herbert going to throw the ball to against the Chiefs? It's got to be Will Dissley. Like Josh Palmer, I guess. Quentin Johnson can't catch a ball to save his life either. So I'm assuming it's going to be Will Dissley. He has 19% target share from Justin Herbert. The Chiefs allow the 4th most points against the tight end position. That's a big thing.
It is a big thing.
We also talk about not liking to play Thursday night football, especially in like when it's not the elite crop of the elite crop. However, like you said, Packers, Lions, big over under. It's probably going to be a shootout. Jordan Love is going to have to throw the ball a lot. The Lions have to throw the ball a lot. Well, they don't have to throw the ball a lot. They can do whatever they want on offense. There's going to be a lot of points scored. In Kraft, it looks like he has 14.5% target share. And this is he's going up against a group that is very aggressive against the tight end position. With Detroit, I want to lean Dissley. I do, because everything tells me this should be a good matchup for him. Fourth most points against the tight end position with the Chiefs. 19% target share with Herbert, with Ladd McConkey in the lineup. If Ladd's hurt, this looks great. This looks great for Dissley. However, man, Kraft has just been killing it, and I think you said, I mean, you did say it. We're probably going to agree on this one. These two are pretty close. In the rankings this week, Kraft has just been more accessible. I think this really comes down to which wide receiver is going to play, which ones don't. Does both Dobbs and Ladd McConkey play this week? Do they both sit? But we won't really know because they're not playing at the same time. So this is going to make it a tough matchup because you have to make this decision by tomorrow night because of Tucker Kraft. And because of that, I'm going with the safe points. I'm going with Tucker Kraft because that game is going to be a shootout and they're not playing against the Chiefs.
Yeah. And two more things are in a dome in Detroit, which, like it or not, we don't know the conditions over there in Kansas City. Could be windy. And you keep on bringing up target share, 19% target share. Okay. If I go out there for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if coach calls me today and Josh, we need you at Ray J 1 p.m. Can you suit up? I'm like, all right, coach, I'm in. He's like, all right, we need you to play quarterback, 2 snaps. And I throw the ball to Mike Evans once and Kate Otten once. They both have a 50% target share. Who gives a fuck if you're only throwing the ball 22 times a game? Who gives a fuck? Sorry for my language, everyone. But if you're throwing the ball not as much, like the Chargers don't throw the ball much. They only throw the ball 28 times a game compared to Detroit or Green Bay, who throw this ball considerably probably more. I don't have those stats in front of me, but I guarantee you it's not less than Justin Herbert. Of course he's going to have a bigger target share because it's less numbers, it's less people, it's less attempts. Whereas Tucker Kraft is sharing with Dobbs. Oh, you're about to tell me he throws less? You're about to tell me the Packers throw the ball less?
Jordan Love has less attempts than Justin Herbert.
Yeah, because he's missed more games. I'm saying Packers gameplay. I'm talking about
he's missed 2 games. That's it.
Yeah, Malik Willis came in there and messed everything up. Honestly, but you cannot tell me that if they throw the ball less, then just fire me. Like literally fire me from the show. Don't ever have me on here again.
Love only has 28 less attempts than Justin Herbert with 2 less games. So yeah, technically, yeah, they do throw the ball more. Let's not forget that the offense for the Chargers has completely changed since week 6 after their bye. They've only thrown the ball less than 30 times, 3 times. One was 27, one was 18 against the Tennessee Titans, and one was last week with 23 attempts. Every other time has been 30 plus more times. And if you look at Jordan Love over the last 3 weeks, he has not thrown the ball more than 30 times since the bye week in week 10.
So I don't know what that means, but all I can tell you is
the Chargers throw the ball a lot more than you think they do.
They have. They've thrown a lot. They have. All right. Well, we'll move on.
And with that, Josh is no longer on the show. No.
Yeah, can I go back home? Can I go back to bed? I'm really tired. I'm so tired. It's freezing here, guys. I can't 60. It's actually 65 degrees now. It's nice.
It is 21 degrees outside right now.
All right. Hey, Mateo, what's the weather like in California? I want to move there so bad.
John said it was in the 40s where he's at.
Got to convince my wife to get out of Florida. Florida's the worst. Craig, I see all your stuff. I am rebounded last week. I am like 8-5, just 1 win behind.
Yeah.
One. Listen, we all are.
I have a league like that.
Yep. This is the week to get in. Mateo wants to know if both of these Super Bowl contenders are true. I'm assuming it's the Packers.
Packers.
I will say this.
Contenders, sure.
All 4 of them are.
I don't think they will.
All 4 of these teams that you're seeing right here on this thing, all contenders for sure. Packers and Chargers.
Maybe he's talking about Detroit and KC because I think those are the 2 actual contenders. My playoff team so far. Okay. Hurts, Dowdle, Hubbard, Kupp, Ridley, Njoku, Cooks, Downs, Ertz, Lockett, Jamal Williams, Bills and Saints defense, and a kicker. Ryland. Rate my team.
There has to be someone better. Like, you're not starting Jamal Williams and Lockett, but there has to be someone better out there. There has to be. Jamal Williams is almost – I don't see him on anyone's roster. I understand it's thin out there. I understand that. People are hurt. There's a lot of bye weeks. But there has to be someone better than Jamal Williams. Your starting roster is good. Hurts is phenomenal. Dowdle, Hubbard's been getting it done. Kupp, Ridley, and Njoku, Cooks, yes. But
Jamal's not worth rostering. I mean, he truly isn't.
I'm nitpicking with Jamal, but there has to be someone better. Look for a sincere, what's his face? He went everywhere. McCormick. If he didn't get picked up in your league, go look for him because he's a better stash. Sincere McCormick. I got him everywhere.
I mean, even if you don't want to go that route, that the Taylor guy, that's also Patrick Taylor, hasn't done much this season, but he hasn't had to do much this season. He was there last year. He's been. Sorry, he was in Green Bay last year. He's in San Francisco. He's not in the lineup in sleeper.
Hey, Braylon Allen. Go check if Braylon Allen's available.
Also, Braylon Allen. He probably, if he has to pick up Jamal Williams, I'm assuming Braylon Allen is not available. Hey, guys, can I get some advice on my lineup this week? Yes. Oh, here you go. Burrow, Gibbs, Jacobs, Puka, Higgins, and Pollard at flex. Bench is Pacheco, Connor, Ridley, Waddle, London, and Jennings. Any changes you would make to the lineup?
Honestly, no. That's all pretty solid.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
I would not put in Waddle. No way. London's a maybe for me, but at the same time, if I did put in London, it'd be Pollard. I would switch those two out.
London's been killing it lately. Pollard, I believe, also has been killing it lately.
Yeah, Pollard's been very good as well. I'm just saying, if I would change it, I prefer wide receivers over running backs because the target's more valuable than a carry. London's just –
I would go Drake London over Tony Pollard. Specifically, Kirk wants to outthrow the Minnesota Vikings this week. Oh, yeah. So Drake London, obviously the target, number one target, wide receiver 6 on the season for Kirk.
And the Vikings give up the most fantasy points to wide receivers.
Exactly. I'm going Drake London over Tony Pollard. Book it.
That's all I would change.
Derek says, dropping Amari Cooper for Jacoby Myers in my PPR league. Is that a good move? Yes.
I didn't know Amari Cooper still played football. I had no idea.
Okay.
Seriously, we talked about that yesterday. Amari Cooper's been a non-factor. I'm sorry. Jacoby Myers at least is getting you in double-digit points weekly. Guys, that's it for the show today. Is that pretty loud? It's pretty loud today, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know why it's so loud, but I'll turn it down for you guys so I don't blow your ears out. It's a great song. We're going to get on out of here, get back at it. We'll be back on Friday. We're doing our ranking show. We do have a guest. He's confirmed. Someone you guys never seen on the show, so it's a new guest. We're going to be talking about his rankings, our rankings, all of the rankings, and of course, every single matchup going into the week, or at least we'll touch on some of them. Injury news, all that fun stuff. So make sure you follow us everywhere. OUSFFpod.com, OUSFFpod on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikToks, LinkedIn maybe, who knows? No, not LinkedIn. LinkedIn coming soon. But until then, guys, peace out.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. Follow on X and Instagram at OUSFFPOD. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.